Okay, everybody, I think we may keep this one a little shorter than normal just because it is the holiday weekend. And we have things to do. We have the, leftover. Well, actually, we're actually having our turkey tomorrow night, Saturday. So, we shifted things around. It's funny because, like in Canada, Canada has a Thanksgiving too, but they have it's the second Monday in October, and it's tied into the same sentiment that we have, to give thanks for the harvest and all this stuff like that, which it's tied into all these old pagan festivals in Europe and stuff too. But most people in Canada, what they do is they have their feast on Thanksgiving Eve, Canadian Thanksgiving Eve, um, because Thanksgiving is Monday. And then they have a big Canadian Football League, a CFL doubleheader. It's the only time they play on Monday afternoons, except for one other time during the year. And I'm just thinking that this is a year of disruption, and why not? We've disrupted our whole holiday. If things went according to plan, because of course I am doing this earlier in the week. It's the magic of of YouTube. I'm doing this back on Tuesday, so we haven't got to Thanksgiving yet. In fact, what we're doing now is rushing around trying to get everything done so we can actually have a holiday on Thanksgiving, which means I have to work 3 times as hard early part of the week because I don't have extra day on Thursday to do my work. So, but I've got to get all the work done anyway, so the week is compressed. Welcome to newspaper life. But anyway, well, what we did was, or what we're planning on doing is on Thursday night or Thursday evening, we're going to have like Thanksgiving spaghetti because we're going over to a friend's house and having a socially distant kind of cocktail hour with them. We're going to be out on their deck. I hope it's not too cold. And we're going to do that. And then we're going to come home and we're going to have our own Thanksgiving. And then on Saturday, we're going to have some close friends over again, socially distanced sort of, Thanksgiving dinner type thing. So we're just figuring out different ways of doing things. And that's one of the few things that 2020 has been good for because we've figured out all these different things that we can do that we haven't been doing for whatever reason, like working from home. It's been interesting, and I talk a little bit about this in my new movies column, but it's really been kind of a weird thing because usually every weekend we have a movie that we're looking toward, whether it's something I'm actually actively looking forward to or not. There's some movie that you have to pay attention to. Now, what's happened with no real box office sort of heavyweights coming into the theaters in the past 8 months, Tenet did, and a few others have tried, but for the most part, we're getting these middleweight, kind of independent films, and they're not anything that commands anybody's. There's Audi, okay. There's not anybody that can. Audi, come here. They're not anything that commands. Our full attention. Now I'm waiting for my dog to come or not come. Audi, you coming? Okay, Audi is not coming. She went to the library to get her homework done. So anyway, we've been able to like pick and choose, of the films that are coming in, and generally we can get screeners and see them in advance, and we can write about them and stuff like that. But then we get thrown these curveballs. Like a couple of weeks ago, we did not expect Hillbilly Elegy to open in theaters here because traditionally Netflix has not opened its movies in Little Rock. They've opened them like in New York and Los Angeles, and they've been around for a couple weeks. Then they would, we'd get to see them when they started streaming. So we were going to hold the review, commission the review. We're going to hold the review until the streaming date. And then it opens, and our reviewer hadn't even seen it at that time, so we ran a wire review, which is not our preference because, as I've said before, most of the wire reviews that move today aren't the kind of thing we do. We do a different sort of, we try to take a more critical approach to film than a lot of the people who are writing for The Wire do now. So it's not that they're better or worse than what we do. It's just a different approach. Okay. So now I've got stuck with this Hillbilly Elegy review that we didn't run. So I'm trying to decide whether to run it as like a second take or to not run it at all and just eat it because we've already run a review of it, blah, blah, blah. And now, this week, and I'm excited about this and I'm happy about this, but Mank is opening in theaters this week. The David Fincher movie that's going to be on Netflix in a couple of weeks. And I'm really excited about its opening because we haven't been getting Netflix here, movies here, before they've shown on the streaming service. Roma didn't come here. And Roma was one of those films that you really did need to see on a bigger screen, or it really helps. I think it's really good on a small screen. It's just, I saw it twice on huge, really good theaters, and it was much different experience. I still think you can appreciate and you can enjoy it, of course, but other things being equal, that's the kind of movie that you should see on a big screen. I suspect Mank is the same thing. I'll find out because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm either going to see it this weekend in the theater or I'm going to wait and see it next week when Netflix sends me my screening link. And they're sending me a screening link because I was going to write about it. Now I don't know that I'm going to write about it because we have Ann Hornaday of the Washington Post writing about it for us this week. So, it sort of messes with your scheduling and with your planning. And also with your ego, because I want to write about Mank. I didn't necessarily want to write about some other things, but I did want to write about that. But I haven't seen it, and it's opening, so let's go with an excellent critic, one of the best working today, Ann Hornaday. I would take all the Ann Hornaday copy I could get for our section. But I also want to write about myself, so I don't know. Maybe what I'm going to do is maybe we will just create a new little thing called Second Take, and I will just run, like the Hillbilly Elegy review that Piers wrote for us, or I will run my Mank, thoughts, and we'll just call it Second Take, and we just run it in there, because there's no one's stopping us. We can do what we want to do. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's just a decision we have to make, and it's just something that maybe is interesting to you. The environment's really different now. I mean, I really look at it like we're going to be in this place for another 5 months, 6 months. I'm thinking April is when we pretty much will be able to throw off the shackles and do what we want, because there'll be enough of the vaccine out there. There'll be enough people who've, I just looking at April is like a good, I keep bouncing this, sorry. I look at April as a good time to, think about reopening stuff and really reopening and really coming back. I might be wrong, might be a little longer, might be a shorter horizon, but anyway. So it seems to me like the thing to do is to hunker down between now and then. But on the other hand, people are going to do what they're going to do. I mean, it's not like, we're not the kind of animal that doesn't take risk. Life is a risk itself. And if you feel like you want to go to the movies, we'll go to the movies. I don't think it's any less safe than doing a lot of the things that we do. I do think that the more you're out there, the more you're exposing yourself to other people and other things and other situations, the greater your chances of contracting something. I mean, it's sort of like if you're out there enough, it's going to happen. And this is another chance to put yourself out there. So, you have to make your own decisions about that sort of thing. Now, when we've been, it's been very quiet in the theaters. It has been, no one's gotten within 20 feet of us. and everybody's wearing masks. I have been in other situations that were not quite that safe. There's not been any, anecdotally they say anyway, there's no case where they could trace, a COVID case back to a theater, but that doesn't make sense to me either. It's sort of like, well, yeah, but you can't trace most cases back to anything specific, I would guess. So, I don't know. Will Mank draw people to theaters? Probably not. If Tenet didn't do a better job of drawing people to theaters, I don't think Mank will. Even though Mank it's got a special sort of, as Anne Hornaday points out in her review, it is a movie that's really for movie people. It's really a movie for cinephiles. I don't think it's a movie. Here she is. Come here, Audi. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Okay, yeah, she made a surprise appearance. I don't know. Did you do your homework? Yeah, well. Anyway, Mank is here. That's a good thing. It speaks well for Netflix, I think, for actually putting it out. It speaks really well for, I think it's at Riverdale, for the theater to getting it. I don't know if it's going to be anyplace else, but I know it's at Riverdale because I've got the Riverdale listings earlier. They went out and got it, and I hope people go see it. I'm considering going to see it myself in the theater, though I do have the advantage of having this Netflix link that will be up soon, I hope, and so I could watch it here. But we're in a strange and weird place. I'm optimistic about this being over soon. I don't have any particular problem staying right here at home and hanging out with Audi and her sisters and my friend downstairs. So I hope you're in a good situation too. And those of us in a good situation ought to be, well, thankful for that. It's been a hard year for a lot of people, and I think we should keep that in mind if it hasn't been a hard year for us. And it hasn't been hard for me. It's been odd. It's been very, different and strange, but personally, we've made it through. And like I said, nobody wants to be the last guy, the last casualty of the war. Let's keep our heads down and let's not do anything stupid, and let's go to the movies when we go to the movies. I hope the movies survive. I hope that all theaters get through this. I know that some aren't. I know that some are already closed and probably never won't be reopening, and I think that we're going to be in a different sort of landscape going forward. But at the same time, things always are changing. There's always disruption, and we're just going to get through this as we can. We've got movies on a pipeline. We've got things coming in. What else am I? The Belushi movie, which I don't write about. I think I'm going to run a review of it. The Belushi movie that's on Showtime is really good. It's really much. If I'm old enough that I remember not only John Belushi, but I remember, after he died, and I remember the Bob Woodward book, Wired, which I think I reviewed. And I remember the controversy about that book because it really was sort of a sensationalist take on this guy's life. And in a way, I don't blame Woodward for that because there was a lot of material you could make sensational out of Belushi's life. And I remember the movie that was based on that book, also called Wired, which starred Michael Chiklis, and it almost ruined his career. I think he was being, blacklisted because he played Belushi in this horrible movie. Chiklis went on and had, a career, so that's good. But Belushi was one of those weird comets. it seems like he was around a lot longer than he was, and that's because I was young when he was young, and those 4 years on Saturday Night Live seem the equivalent of 15 years to me. It's like a full career, because and that was a time when I was more invested in Saturday Night Live. I mean, I probably haven't really watched it since the Belushi era. And if you woke me up in the middle of the night and pointed a gun at me and asked me the movie that I'd seen the most times, it's probably Animal House. I've probably seen Animal House at least 50 times, and probably closer to 100 if you talk about the partial viewings and the times I've just watched it on TV when it's come up and stuff like that. It's a movie I pretty much know by heart. One of the very few that I pretty much know by heart. I was aware of 1940, which 1941 gets kind of short shrift in this in this documentary, and Neighbors, and some of those things. But Belushi was an incredible talent. Things that he did, I didn't really care for. I never really was a big Blues Brothers fan, though I understand the importance of them as popularizers of the blues. It was they really were on the vanguard of this blues revival in the early '80s. I don't know if people remember that or not, but yeah, they really they brought back a lot of blues artists. Owe them a little bit of a debt just for popularizing them and getting their names out there. And that Blues Brothers band was really good. I mean, Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper, and and those guys got a little bit of money out of that. They got some notoriety out of that. They probably are better known because of that than Booker T and the MGs. So but anyway, I'd recommend. It's called Belushi. It's by R.J. Cutler. R.J. Cutler. I want to say Ratner, but it's R.J. Cutler, and it sounds like a football player. And it's on Showtime, and it's pretty good. I'm also looking forward to Between the World and Me, which is on HBO. And I've read the book, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. And right now I'm interested in it in sort of an academic kind of way, but I think that it's going to be one of those communal moments, of those big civic ritual moments of 2020. Sorry, and that it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be talking about next week. And so if you have fear of missing out, maybe you don't want to miss out on that. Yeah, we can talk. As for other things, Queen's Gambit was really good. People are buying chess sets. That's pretty nutty. Oh, Audi, where are you going? I don't know that I'm going to be doing the radio thing this Friday, so but I'm going to put Audi down. Go on, Audi. Let's see. For some reason, all these Eddie Murphy movies showed up, these DVDs. I think Paramount has cut deals with them, so they're going to be streaming for the first time or something. Things like The Golden Child and Coming to America. So we'll look for those. I mean, Eddie Murphy Renaissance thing. There's a Jackie Chan, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that's out this week, so watch for that. What else? Anyway, I've been here longer than I thought I was going to be, so I'll just let you go. Have a happy day after Turkey Day. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you in December. All right? 2020 is almost